Hello and welcome to the Bonus XP podcast. I'm your host Luke Morgan and I'm joined as always by the maidenless boys, Conan.
Hello.
And Griner.
Not maidenless anymore, how dare you?
The Elden Lord, Griner. If you're new to the show, what we do here is every fortnight, three friends gather around the internet campfire and each bring forward a news item or topic from the gaming world that we think will be fun to discuss. Before we get to that, however, what have we been playing? I haven't been playing much. Conan, I won't go to you first this time. Griner, what have you been playing?
I haven't been playing anything new. I don't know. It feels like a bit of a drought. I'm not sure what's going on with all the AAA games where they've all been scared off to. But I've been playing Rogue Legacy. So I started. I think I talked about this. I'd played about 2 hours last time we spoke. Played a fair bit more now. I'm actually really enjoying that game. The first Rogue Legacy I played, I liked it, but I didn't feel like I got into it. I think I found it too hard, honestly. So I played a bit of it, but I never got near the end or anything like that. But this game, I feel like I'm making good progress in, unlocking a bunch of stuff, beating a bunch of bosses, having a lot of fun with it. It's a very, very good game.
What are you playing that on?
On PC. It's just a really good improvement over the first one. It just takes everything the first one did and makes it look better, play better, and just gives you a whole lot more options and tools and fun things to unlock. It's a really cool game. Have you guys never played Rogue Legacy?
No.
I avoid roguelikes and all that sort of stuff as much as possible.
I think it's I don't know. I think it's become my favorite genre. There's something about it that just really appeals to me. And Rogue Legacy is fun because you basically control a character, you run through this castle, unlocking gold and stuff, and then you're building up a legacy. So you're building up your castle, and then every time you die, you take on someone within your legacy, one of your children or children of children, and so they pass.
Cool.
You unlock different traits. So there's negative ones. So there's there's one called Puritan where all the bad guys are pixelated and censored, but you get bonus gold because you can't really see what they're doing. You can't see when they're winding up their attacks, but you get bonus gold. There's one where you're colorblind, so everything's black and white, but you get bonus gold. And then there's other positive ones where every item you pick up is doubled and stuff like this, but you don't get any bonus gold for that. So there's lots of fun little traits like that, and you can do stuff to affect how they're passed on to your next generation.
That's pretty cool.
It's a really well thought out game. It's a very good way to handle a roguelike. It's very, very good. It controls so tightly too. And I've played about 12, might be a dozen classes now, and they all feel really different and unique. It's cool.
It's a side scroller, isn't it?
Side scroller, 100%. Yeah,
like Shovel Knight type sort of
absolutely.
thing as well. Have you played Shovel Knight?
Yeah, I have. Yep.
Yeah, I did like Shovel Knight.
Yeah.
I really want you to play Returnal.
Yeah, one day.
I just have a feeling this could be like how God of War hit with you, and I was really happy that you liked it so much. I was like, Returnal, I feel like you could be like, oh yeah, this is better than Hades. It is better than Hades.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's a dream. But yeah.
In other Andrew Griner gaming news, I've ordered a new PC. I'm so excited.
Ooh.
Parts are on their way. So next time we record, it'll be on a fancy new computer.
You finally got a graphics card?
No, I'm going to keep my old graphics card till for all the nerds at home playing along at home till the 40 series comes out later this year, hopefully.
No way, the 40 series.
The 40 series.
That's my favorite series.
But every other part in my computer is in desperate need of upgrading, so I'll stick with the 1070 for a little bit longer.
Fair enough. That's exciting.
You could have just got a PS5.
I could have. It would have cost me a lot less too, but
man,
there's just something so nice about I want this part and I want this part and I want it to look like this. And I don't know. I'm a grumpy old man and I didn't pick anything with any RGB in it. There's not going to be any lights in mine.
Boring.
I nearly chose a case that didn't even have a window on the side because I really don't care. But
you should have gone for the old retro white case.
The matte grey, ceramic grey sort
the
of.
beige. And the sunlight makes it go all yellow. That's exactly what I want.
Perfect.
With a floppy disk drive in the front.
Yeah.
Conan, have you been playing anything?
No, so I'm still still wrestling with all I mean, it's still dealing with all the stuff that I was last fortnight, and so just continuing through Elden Ring. The game's really big. Um, I can't play games for a living. It's not my profession, and I'm an
Yeah.
old man. I also have responsibilities, and open world games are like my bane now. The idea of a game being like, we offer at least 100 hours of content makes me want to vomit.
I
And
know.
in a game that actively says you will keep dying over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, so you're going to waste a lot of time. I'm like, I love it, but I hate it.
Yeah.
And that's so I'm still going through. I'm probably halfway through the game, maybe a bit further, but I know that I'm reaching harder points, so I'm gonna finish it. I haven't finished a game in a long time. I'm gonna finish Elden Ring, but man,
it's the curse of like adulthood and responsibilities, isn't it? I feel like so many games, I'm like, this would have been teenage me's like dream.
just
Like
your
I
jam, right?
cannot imagine playing like these open world like RPGs that were so deep and like all that back then. Like when I just had all this time that finish school, boom, game time until
Yeah.
I pass out. Like, and now all these games exist and I can't touch. I feel like it's like, but
where's our summer holidays where we can spend 6 weeks
3.
inside doing nothing?
Exactly.
It's like even things like just tangential, but playing Hitman. I remember playing Hitman back on the original Xbox and like getting Silent Assassin on every level. It's because I could play 6 hours and just keep failing and be like, all right, I figured it out. And I do it. I fail once and like, screw it. I don't have the time to waste on this.
I'm gonna shoot through the rest of the level.
Basically. And I'm like, I'll never achieve that level of efficiency again because I just don't have time or patience.
No, exactly. What was I going to say? So, playing Elden Ring, are you getting close to the end or still a long ways off? Do you feel like?
There's still a couple of areas I haven't touched. I haven't taken on any of the other main big bosses.
Yeah.
Like, for anyone playing at home, I've pretty much done Caelid except all the main points. So all the castles have been untouched. I haven't taken on whoever the boss there is. I can't remember his name.
You haven't fought Radahn yet?
Not yet, no. So
I've cleared every to fight him.
I'm gonna fail, and I don't want to fail.
No, he's fine. You'll be fine.
Okay. Well, point is, I cleared it all out. I was like, cool. Caelid's done. Save for the things that are like, save for the stupid putrid avatar. What a dumb, crappy, dumb boss thing. And then save for the big ones like him and the jar that wants to fight me. And so then I went up to the Altus Plateau, and I'm clearing that out now. So I think once I'm sort of done there, I'll go back down. So I'm probably about halfway, a bit further. But
yep.
Yeah, at some point I'm gonna have to stop trying to find everything. I think I'm just gonna have to get a bit more laxed.
Grona and I touched on it before the podcast started. Conan, have you jumped in at all on Halo Season 2?
Not yet. No.
It seems like not many people are. Like Grona said,
really?
It's I don't know. Like I can't find the will to. Like I maxed out Season 1. I just can't. There's nothing interesting in there. Like even the Battle Pass. I look at the Battle Pass, all 100 levels, and I'm like, okay, at the end I could get some cool skull shoulder pads. There's nothing else that's like attractive in there. 2 new maps which don't seem exciting, and like they're bragging that they've added King of the Hill, which is something that should have been in the game at launch.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's just it's pretty weak, I feel like.
Isn't the thrill of coming first why you play over and over again? To bathe in the blood of your enemies rather than to achieve.
Yeah, but I've done that many times now.
I am the best.
You need something else to keep bringing me back, and pretty costumes of what's going to do it, and it's not doing it for me at the moment. Like but other than that, which I've just dipped my toes in a bit, the main thing I've actually been playing this fortnight is Nintendo Switch Sports. So the spiritual successor to the massive hit Wii Sports. This is just a fun game. I got a good deal on it when it launched last week. Basically, me and my 2 young children have been playing this game. 3-player versus each other in the soccer game, sword fighting, which is my favorite one. My daughter is for some reason kicking everybody's ass at that game. She's just like and bowling as well. She's got it nailed down. While like my son, who's really good at games, keeps like throwing the ball behind him and up in the ceiling, and just like you can't get to see him to the whole pull the trigger now, then you pull back, then let go. My daughter goes all Big Lebowski and like does a roll on and throws it down there, strike. She's smashing it. But I think there's 6 sports in that, and 3 of them feel pretty similar. Like you've got tennis, badminton, and something else. It just feels like it's sort of the 3 sort of same games, but it is what it is. It's fun. I'm sure it'd be fun with friends and everyone uncoordinated and clunky, and get your grandma, sword fighting.
Drunk.
Yeah, or drunk, and yeah, it could be fun, but it does. I don't think it has the same magic that Wii Sports did back in the day. I think that was the whole appeal of a motion control, but now everything's got motion controls, and
Yeah.
it doesn't have that same appeal. But Wii Sports was massive. Like it did massive. No, I think it's one of the best-selling video games of all time. But
Well, it came packed in with the Wii. Does that
came
count?
packed in with the Wii, so it's a
Yeah.
bit of a default victory.
Do you think this game would be better if it came in with the Switch?
I mean, it should have.
Would have been
like people
huge,
wanted
yeah.
it. We got 1-2 Switch, which was had people pretending to eat their controller like a hot dog. That was like
Really?
the worst thing that's ever existed in gaming. But
It was bad.
yeah. So other than that, I haven't been playing too much. Again, boring adult lifestyle. Do need to get into Elden Ring. I need somebody's help to beat whatever his name is, Mildred or something.
Margaret.
Well,
Margaret.
we'll book it out when you actually want to do it. Be like, hey, I'm going to fight him this Thursday or something. And I'll be
Conan, after this podcast, let's go beat Margaret.
like, I don't know about that. It'll be late. I got to go to bed and wake up at
Okay.
We wake up early now.
At adult
It's my
hours.
30th birthday this Saturday. How about as a birthday present, we beat Margaret?
I will do that for you. I got
Yay. Let's finish the game too. Let's just go. Let's just do it all day.
48 hours
Just go
straight.
for it, man.
Oh, you can speed run it in 15 hours, can't you? Like 15 minutes, actually.
Some people have finished it in 2 minutes. So let's go for that playthrough.
All
Speed
right,
runs for that game are cool.
I need to look. Yeah,
Let's become
Yeah.
speedrunners.
They literally just teleport around the map. Anyway,
it's
a whole
breaking the
thing.
game, isn't it? All the speedrunners.
No, I mean
yeah.
there's categories where they don't, but it's definitely
Yeah, true.
one where they do.
Actually, just to follow up on a news story we did last fortnight, it seems Let Me Solo Her has now defeated, is it Melania?
Yep.
Melania Trump has defeated her 1,000 times.
1,000 times.
What a
So-
legend.
Dedication.
Bravo
It
to
is.
Let Me Solo Her. I wish he was offering that to like all the bosses and just could come in and help me and just let him guide me. That would be quite an epic story. So if you're listening to this, Let Me Solo Her. Help me out. Help me, Let Me Solo Her. You're my only hope.
You need to level up past level 1 and it'll be okay.
Apparently, I need to earn some of them souls to level up first, and then I should be good. But who knows? I'll see how far I can go. We'll move on to the first topic of the show. We might start with you, Griner. What have you got for us this week?
I've got a weekly NFT suck segment. Are we excited for NFT suck? I just wanted to touch on this briefly because they don't seem to be going away. We've still got Ubisoft talking about their what is it called,
Yes.
Quartz. We've got Square still doubling down on what their crypto is going to be. People talking about the metaverse. Does anybody else just cringe when they hear the word metaverse? Like I don't
Seeing how
want
it's
it. I
still
don't
relevant,
need it.
yeah.
It seems terrible. Anyway, a report came out this week that NFT sales have declined 92% since their peak. 92%. So one of the big things is Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey decided to mint an NFT of the first ever tweet. I mean, who would buy this, right? And
Yeah.
it didn't receive
That's
any
pretty cool.
bids above $14,000.
Oh wow,
Like
that's
Fantastic.
And I mean, I think, I don't know, it feels like everybody with some sense saw this being the way it would go, right? Like, I don't know. I personally never saw any values in NFTs, but game companies still seem to see them as the way forward.
because of money, and the money's not there anymore. Like
No.
I don't.
That's the good thing, right? Like, if the money's not there anymore, the hope is that they'll, realize it's not worth it.
Yep.
Just it reminds me like it's very different because like you tell me 10 years ago that in the future they're trying to sell like you buy a digital picture, I don't believe it. There's not a world that I believe that in. I almost don't believe it this year, you
Yeah.
know? But
Yeah.
like, you know, there was that whole phase in the PS3 generation where they were selling the online passes. Like you would buy a game and it had an online pass and you put that code in, which meant you could play that game online. Then if you sold that game or traded it in and someone else bought it, they had to pay like
for the
$5 to
online pass too.
$10 to be able to play that game online.
Mm.
And everyone was doing this, and a lot of people hated it, and then it eventually faded out and didn't become a thing anymore, obviously.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a weird thing that happened, right? Because they were doing that, but then because digital sales grew so much, you know, there's no resale market on those, so they don't need to offer this. And then we got battle passes, which kind of take the place of that.
Yeah.
What a world we live in. Anyway, in related NFT news, the Bored Ape Yacht Club, which also makes me cringe. I think these things are the stupidest things ever. So they were selling NFTs that gave you real estate inside a metaverse game that I don't think exists yet. I think it's like a planned thing, as far as I can tell. It's a crypto-based MMORPG, upcoming crypto-based MMORPG. So they're selling these NFTs, and because of the traffic it generated, the Ethereum blockchain couldn't cope. The gas fees went up to $14,000 for some people, and the transactions didn't even go through some of the time. So some people paid gas fees in the thousands of dollars and didn't receive the NFT.
Wow.
Oh man.
I mean, the whole decentralized thing is supposed to prevent some of this, but it doesn't. I don't know. Something didn't happen right here. A whole bunch of people out a whole bunch of money for this terrible sounding MMORPG.
Yeah.
Wow. Play Elden Ring, guys. Like
That's the thing. There's a better RPG right now.
The problem is
anything.
it's still netted $310 million.
Where does this money come from?
I don't know. It's all made up. Money's not real. The economy doesn't exist. It's
The thing is, it really does seem like the only people who do this are essentially gamblers or investors who are like they feel like they see the writing on the wall and they're like, this is the next big thing because they saw the crypto boom last year.
Yep.
And it's like, this is it. This is the next thing. So everyone's jumping in on it, and they're just like, oh, you know, that's what they think they're doing. They think they've struck a new mineral or something. And it's this weird thing where there is no value, there's no purpose or functionality. And as soon as the made up demand declines, it's just like there is nothing here.
it just it cracks me up. I see so many people that are just like, we're on the ground floor, like we're still here. And it's like, no, the ground floor was a year and a half ago.
The ground floor's crumbled away. It's not.
It's gone up to the top and it's crashed back down in its ruins now. You're buried in the ruins. You're not on the ground floor. You're on ground zero, but that's it's a mess, man.
Yeah.
I think game development takes too long to try and like capitalize on these flash in the pan things, right? Like it doesn't.
Yeah.
It seems foolish to me for game companies to be like, let's get on the next trend with a game that's going to take 3, 4, 5, 6 years to develop.
Exactly.
It just doesn't. There's a math problem there. It doesn't work. Anyway, I really hope these two stories and more that come out like this really scare developers off of NFTs. I don't know. Maybe it won't. Maybe we'll get more of them, but I really hope not.
I don't know. 92% down is it's astronomical.
It's a huge drop off. Yeah.
Like, people get scared at like 10-15% decline, so that should send alarm bells off to everyone. But yeah, we'll see.
So here's the thing, right? This reminds me of another topic that's happened this week. Obviously, we should probably touch it on. Square Enix, obviously, this week sold off quite a lot of its IP, such as like Tomb Raider, Deus Ex. What else was there? There was a few other ones. Not Final Fantasy or anything like that, but they sold off a lot of things. So Thief, Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Legacy of Kain. The studios, Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and Square Enix Montreal, the three studios that collectively employ nearly 1,100 people in total, was sold off. And now this seems crazy compared to recent acquisitions we've talked about. Around $300 million for all of that.
Yeah,
Like
wow.
that seems like a no-brainer to buy that. Like I don't know why. Like it was sold to Embracer Group, so Embracer Group bought these. I believe they bought THQ Nordic and there were a few other things, and they're making their mark. But Square Enix did this because they're bankrolling new efforts, including like blockchain-based games. And Square Enix is their foot are in the ground with these NFT projects. They're like, we don't need this. We've got our finger hot on the pulse of this
Oh,
NFT market. Let's start investing in blockchain based games. It's
I hope they go under.
disastrous, man. Disastrous. Like Tomb Raider is an iconic series and character that if you do right with it, that's such a money making series. Like I don't get it. I don't get it. But 300 million is shocking.
This
But
is yeah. I guess like people are still looking at it as like the Fortnite solution, right? Where Fortnite's just a thing that churns dollars and just makes money
Yep.
constantly. So like, why make these? You know, why spend 50 million to make a game that might make 200 million when we could have blockchain gaming that makes us 100 million every month? It's like, yeah, you're right. That's a weird. You know, it's like how mobile games are super successful if done right, and arguably can be a better investment than a AAA game. Like, there's probably more chance to make money in churning out smaller games like that because it's just this weird like
Yeah.
constant income is better than the potential of huge income that might not work if the game's a flop. So I don't know. I guess it seems like they're just doing that. They're like, these things are too risky. AAA games are there's something else. Let's just try to do this thing that'll set us up for life, which is so sad, but it's just sort of the future of it, I guess.
Yeah. Like yeah, Square Enix seem to be one of the like biggest supporters of NFTs and the blockchain, whatever that means. But
I mean, and just the environmental impact alone, and just like what it means for
Yeah.
the future, right? And just this idea, it's like this is the future of gaming. Like, no, it's not. That's the future that kills the future. Like it really does. It's not sustainable. It's not something you can just be like, this is what we do now.
Yeah.
so in its press release, I'll just read this and then we'll move on. Um, Square Enix pinned the sale to a need to adapt to the changes underway in the global business environment by establishing a more efficient allocation of resources. It also specifically called out the launch of new businesses with blockchain listed alongside technology such as AI and cloud computing. So, yeah, good luck with all that, Square Enix. But I don't know. Square Enix is a weird company. It seems like they weren't happy with the profits from Tomb Raider and had way high expectations for everything. Like, even though it'd sell well, they'd say, oh, it didn't meet our expectations. Don't know what they're expecting to be the next Fortnite, but that seems to be what so many game companies are going after now because companies would kill what make what Fortnite make in a day, basically, and
Basically, yeah.
they're not going to. So I don't know. Sell some ape pictures or something. I don't know. Conan, what is your topic for the week?
All right, just a couple of small stories that I found interesting. EA, speaking of huge games and the money they make, EA FIFA.
Hmm.
It's been sort of known for a while. Luke, you mentioned that you think you heard about this 2 years ago. You're probably right. I think it has been in the works for a while, but their
Yeah.
contracts come to an end after 30 years. And basically, there has to be a renegotiation about if EA can use the FIFA name in their licensing in their games, and they've decided not to. So
Yeah.
apparently, FIFA wanted $1 billion. I think, or I don't know if it was a billion. It was this exorbitant amount of money every month. I think it might have even been maybe it wasn't that. I don't know.
It
It
was
was
a
a
lot of
huge amount.
money.
It was a lot of money, is the point, and they wanted it very constantly because FIFA is an incredibly successful game franchise, one of the biggest
Just
in.
brand. Like it's just the brand name. Like
Exactly right. And there seems to be a lot of dispute over FIFA thinks that their name is what sells that game. EA thinks that the name is nothing really. They sort of view it as they actually view their games as more powerful than the FC itself. They even said, FIFA name probably we're more synonymous with it than the actual game of soccer. So anyway, they've decided to end that contract. They're changing the name to EA Sports FC. And FIFA is planning to make their own version of soccer games now to compete.
so This is what is interesting. And now I heard this a couple months ago on podcast Sacred Symbols. They were talking about this, where what's interesting is like Konami, who at the moment make like the biggest rival to FIFA. Not a successful rival, but
No.
like their rival with is it PSG, like Pro Soccer or something like that?
Isn't it
Pro,
Pez?
PES,
Pro-
yeah,
yeah,
Pro
Evolution.
Evolution Soccer. They could technically now buy the rights to then name their game this year FIFA,
Yeah.
and you could have this year a FIFA 23 and EA Sports FC 23 coming out this year. And I don't know, like Conan, we don't work in the game retail stores anymore, but
No
this
more.
could be a confusing cookie for people to
it-
have a
it-
FIFA and a EA Sports FC.
I had the same thought, right? And even if FIFA themselves just go out and say we're doing it, and they churn out it, and they're like, "This is FIFA now,"
Yep.
there is going to be a lot of people, a lot of parents who are just like, "FIFA, my kids love that," and
Yep.
they buy that game, and it is going to be a weird. Yeah, it's
So
going to be a weird year.
So many kids at Christmas, like, not FIFA anymore, Mum. It's made by the people who made FIFA. It's EA Sports FC.
Or even on the flip side, right? You'll get people who'll be like, "What the hell is? I don't want to buy EA Sports FC. No, I want FIFA. I play FIFA only." And
Yeah.
they'll get it, and then they'll like take it home, or they won't take it because they go, "This is like a cheap knockoff." And it's gonna be this strange thing where the real game is no longer the real game. Like,
It's nuts to me that the EA are doing this because, like, FIFA is Call of Duty. To like, people say FIFA, like, oh yeah, no,
it's on a level, yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
FIFA, Madden, Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto. Like some people play just those games. And that's what like that. Oh yeah, new FIFA, come in, buy FIFA. It's like it's totally that brand. People don't say EA's FIFA or anything like that. It's just
No.
I don't know. It's a risky move, Cotton. I don't know. Let's see if it plays out. But I don't know about it. It's going to be. I think obviously gamers know, and I'm sure they'll do whatever they can with their promotional material and their marketing and their cover art to keep it as consistent as they have previously or whatever. But I'm very interested to see how it performs, like sales wise, out the gate. And if it just doesn't have the same value to it, and if it doesn't, then hey, EA saved themselves billions of dollars, I guess. But
so they're calling
it's,
it EA Sports FC. Is that what they're calling the game?
Yes.
That's just an atrocious name, isn't it?
That's the thing. They could have picked something better, man. Like EA
FIFA.
Soccer.
EFA 23.
Yeah.
Like they might change it. I get the vibe they're trying to turn it into a whole sort of genre. You know, like EA Sports makes sports games rather than. That's the vibe I'm getting. At least I don't know if it's true, but yeah, it's not. It's not catchy.
No.
EA Sports Soccer. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you guys reckon that it'll stay there, or what do you reckon will happen here? Do you reckon most people know? Like Luke, do you reckon that most people know FIFA is EA, or do you reckon because again we both worked in that setting? Do you reckon that the people who generally come in and buy FIFA day one know that it's like an EA game specifically, and they would know that there's a change?
I think that like everyone knows EA. Everyone knows like EA Sports. It's in the game. Like, but you know what? So many people are going to buy FIFA and be like, "Oh, where's that intro?" Like that was weird.
Even though they know EA makes FIFA, it's still not going to be clear enough at the next release to be like, "Oh, this is not the EA game," right? Like it's still probably, at least for one cycle, it's going to be confusing, and then you split your user base, right? Like the people who know buy the EA game, the people who don't buy FIFA. I don't know. It feels like a mess, but I don't wonder who will win. Will it be FIFA or will it be EA?
That's what I wonder, right?
They're both shitty organisations, so maybe they should both go down.
I'm so curious to know, does there become a divided fan base with loyal FIFA heads and loyal EA Sportsians?
I tell you what, pressure's on like FIFA, man. If FIFA can come out and make a really good soccer game in a year and call it FIFA, then you've stumbled into a $1 billion series every year. Like it's. But it's not that easy to make. Obviously, EA have been doing this for 20-something years, making the same game with slight modifications each year. But it's interesting because like That's the thing. I don't think like the other games like PES and all that have the same soccer teams and same soccer players in them games. It's not like a license to those players like it is with Madden and NFL or anything like that, or the NBA. It's like it really is just that brand of FIFA. Like it's that name. Um,
And yeah, like I said, the game's been finely tuned over 20 years, so it's the better game, right?
yeah,
I mean,
but
I haven't played them, so I don't truly know, but
like that's
I can only assume it is a superior game.
as someone who actually just downloaded FIFA 22, like 3 days ago. It's free on PS Plus. I didn't buy it.
Let's all get into FIFA, guys. Let's become FIFA players.
Wait, FIFA or EA Sports
Oh,
FC?
shit.
Like the thing is, like I think the biggest problem with those games is that it's just exploited for money now. Like with the card packs and the player.
You hear about
packs
the card packs, yeah.
Apparently, like it's brutal and it's very overlooked in the games industry because people who are reviewing all these AAA games, they don't play FIFA. It's like, oh no, yeah, charge people $50 for a virtual pack of currency in that game, but that doesn't matter. Like, well, if that was like in a Grand Theft Auto or something, it'd be really talked about a lot more.
I don't know. I think Grand Theft Auto is pretty dirty with its microtransactions.
With the shark cash or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, something else. I don't know. Halo, Last of Us, but yeah, I don't know. It's going to be fascinating to see, but I'm very surprised that EA have decided to do it because it's not like they're not profiting off it. Like it's them just like, yeah, I don't know, but
it seems like a lot of chest puffing and
yeah,
a lot of egos in the room. And
yeah, definitely.
Speaking of egos, Mass Effect 4 is back in the news. Everyone's favorite franchise,
dude.
So speculation. In fact, irrefutable, undeniable proof, if you ask me, has come out that Commander Shepard will in fact be in Mass Effect 4. So a collectible that went on sale on the BioWare website, a Mass Effect Mysteries from the Future lithograph, was released and came with some flavor text that was very revealing.
Yes.
And it said, and I'm just lost my notes. Here you go. So it's found by a YouTuber who was looking at it when it was released. Basically, and it says, quote, while Shepard and the survivors are left to pick up the pieces, fans are left wondering what's next. Now, this was then changed within a very short amount of time to the threat of the Reapers might have ended, but at great cost, including Earth itself, while the survivors are left to pick up the pieces, fans are left wondering what's next. So this quick action by BioWare to remove the inclusion of and reference to Shepard specifically has got people like me convinced that someone screwed up, reveal that Shepard is in fact in it, because why else would you reference him, right? It makes no sense to that sentence, while Shepard and the survivors are left to pick up the pieces, very clearly infers that Shepard is there with the survivors picking up said pieces.
Here's the trailer, the reveal trailer for this game, the only thing we've got from this is Liara T'Soni picking up a piece of N7 helmet out of the snow. And like he brushes it off and shows the N7 and looks up at the camera and smiles and winks. And then it's like, oh, a new Mass Effect game is in development. Yeah. That's very much a tease that possibly Shepard is coming back. But it's also then like, oh, well, Liara can live for another 1,000 years. So who knows when this game takes place. When Mass Effect 3 came out, now, Griner, you haven't finished it yet. And I feel bad saying anything about the ending to spoil it.
I don't care.
But so there was 3 endings that were quite similar at the end of Mass Effect 3. We will get into that later in this podcast. But basically what BioWare seemed to be very firm on for a while is that the, I think was it like Synthesis was the perfect ending, like best ending. But they considered Destroy actually like the Renegade ending, which Mass Effect hardcore fans didn't think was accurate. You should want to destroy the Reapers. That's what the whole point of the trilogy is. It's the red choice. It's not the blue choice. Blue is Elusive Man. Red is Captain Anderson. And it mixed it up a bit. And they seem to push that, Destroy actually wasn't good. And then people found out, Destroy is the only one where you can get a post-credit scene where Shepard survives. Do you remember this, Conan?
Yeah, so there's a 3.4 second scene of
3.4 second Post-credit scene.
of his chest gasping. And that's
Yes.
it. Yep.
That's it. Underneath a bunch of rubble and all that sort of stuff. This ending is not a great ending because, like, what it does is basically destroy all technology in the universe. Like, it basically destroys the mass relays, destroys ships, takes out the technology. It destroys all the Geth, which, you build up a whole thing in Mass Effect 3 of, like, these are sentient beings, basically. So destroy is, you can't just choose to wipe out the Reapers. It's wiping them out as well.
Yep.
But it's the only one where it has that post-credit scene. And then it also has the whole thing of whoever your love interest was not putting Shepard's name on the memorial wall as well. Like, they hold on to it and do a little smirk. And then there's this little bit of script here. Like, it's obvious they've learned that they can't get away from Shepard. They did Andromeda. It was a mess. It was a disaster.
Is that because of the lack of Shepard, though?
No,
I mean,
no.
No, it was a lot of other stuff, but I feel like a lot of people weren't interested in that game from the get-go because it wasn't Shepard. And, I mean, they could have created a more interesting protagonist. They did a really bad job at creating... No one knows who Ryder is. Like, no one talks about Ryder as a character. And I played that game for 70 hours. I struggle to remember anything about them characters. Yeah. But, like, surely...
Absence makes the heart grow fonder, right?
Yeah.
And so by having a bad game with no Shepard, we're like, Shepard is the savior. Shepard is the Shepard of our people.
He is. We got the Trilogy Remaster, and that sold great. People loved it. They want more Shepard. And we're going to get it. We're going to get Shepard back. We're going to get an actual Mass Effect 4 that follows on from Mass Effect 3. I'm very, very excited about this. When you sent me that news earlier today, it made my day. It brightened my day up because I was like, wait, what is this information that's out there? And I Googled it, and I was like, oh my God, this confirms it. Shepard is back. I'm very excited. I don't know about you. Conan, are you excited?
I'm ecstatic.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I also played Andromeda for a few hours and I tried hard to get into it and I couldn't. I put it down and I returned it and I said to the nice young clerk, F you. And
this is your fault personally. There's no way this game's good.
You bite your tongue.
No.
So... Now, what are you basing this off? BioWare's recent history?
Yes, the company that you like that made this game is not that company any longer.
They'll all come back, though. They'll all come back for this.
No, you're dreaming.
No, this, and yeah, Griner is probably right because there's a lot of unfortunate...
Tell him that, though.
But here's the thing. They did come back and sign on for this project, and then they've left this project already. Casey Hudson's left already, and we don't even have a game yet at all because it didn't even say like, Mass Effect coming this year or whatever. It was like, there is a Mass Effect game in development sometime, like in the next 7 years, we'll get it with a CGI trailer. BioWare's not BioWare anymore.
No, it's not. It's not. But Casey Hudson was the one who made sure that he wrote the ending, right? Of number 3.
Yes, he was. But he also created
locked himself in the room and was like, this is the only ending. You guys can all go away.
Yes.
So screw him. Screw him.
Yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing. Just hire someone that's really good.
Yes, hire a better writer.
Neil Druckmann. Get Neil Druckmann in there.
Here we go.
Bring in Todd Howard. Say, Todd, we need you to salvage this. Wow, a lot of heresy getting thrown.
You know
around.
what? Go nuts with it. Get what's his name? I've forgotten his name now. The writer from Spec Ops: The Line. Get him in.
Oh yeah, just do it like a super band. Every good writer writes this one.
All good game writers come in.
More writers always makes for a better experience, doesn't it?
Yeah, like, it's probably going to be crap. You're right, but at the same time,
I'm so excited.
Me too, and there is more reason to be a bit excited. Andromeda, I think there was reason to not be excited because that was the first game that you could tell they were like, all right, different character, different story. We're trying to break out. Like, that never goes well. But now that they've seen the abysmal reception, there is at least a slither of hope that they will learn from that.
I hope so.
I would love to see BioWare return to form. Some of my favourite games of all time are BioWare games. I quite liked Mass Effect. I couldn't be bothered to finish 3, but I'm not getting my hopes up. How about that?
No, that's the smart thing to do. But
so okay,
smart.
Grana, you didn't touch Andromeda, obviously. Conan, you said you played it for a bit. I
So
played
did I.
it and finished it. It was a mess. They apparently fixed a lot of the technical aspects of that game, but it was still a very dull game.
See, I never faced a technical issue. I got it when it was like $9.
Okay, I got it at 99.
Yeah,
Oh.
no, criminal. So that they'd fixed all that by the time I played it, but yeah, all I just had was a really bland game, and a game that I was like, I'm so not into this after enough time to make that decision. Like I'd played a bunch, I'd put a few hours into it. I was like, there's nothing here. So
no, and then obviously there's Anthem. Did anyone here play Anthem? I didn't.
I was so keen for Anthem. I thought Anthem looked cool. I wanted it to be good. I love co-op shooters.
Because, man, you can find that game for 40 cents.
Yep.
Now, anywhere. They will pay you
cool.
at some places to take a couple of copies.
Oh yeah, they just put it in every bundle you buy. It's like, and you get a free copy of Anthem with anything else.
Please don't trade it back in.
Just take our stock.
And then before that, they had Dragon Age Inquisition, which I will say is probably the weakest game of the year in the last 20 years of gaming, because it won Game of the Year at so many places, but it was a weird year. It shouldn't have won it, I don't think. But
people didn't hate that game.
No, but it wasn't great. Like I played it and finished it. I liked it because I love Dragon Age. It's just again, I feel like there was just nothing memorable about that game whatsoever.
Yeah.
And Dragon Age 4 has been in development hell for years now, where it got announced years ago, I think, for like a 2019 release date, and still all we have is like a concept art video of people drawing stuff for this game and like making comments, and then it's a mess. So yeah. And no one that was there originally, like Griner said, is there anymore. So
this could be the second
reunion.
chance.
Get the old group, the gang together.
Get the band back together. That's right.
Yeah.
Now, it is worth knowing Mass Effect 3 had a notoriously bad ending.
Yes.
Which got everyone thinking, I think, of other bad endings, didn't it?
Yes. So that's actually my topic for the week. The topic to close us out for the week. What is the worst endings in history? Oh no. Or just what are some games that you guys think had some bad endings? I will start, since we're talking about Mass Effect, because I don't want to come back to Mass Effect again. Mass Effect 3 is the first one that comes to my mind every time I hear about a bad ending. And it's not even like the ending is like disastrous or anything. I think it's just after the journey you have with these characters, like you're talking 150 hours with these characters, and
At least,
all these choices and branching things and this and that, and people having different types of things. Like they said in interviews leading up to this game, this isn't the type of game that it'll come down to a choice between A, B, or C. And like it literally plants you in the middle of a room, shows you 3 different colors, and it's like, now you must decide your ending, basically. And that's not even the worst part, because like, and Mass Effect fans will know, like real fans will know, like the problem with this game, and there was a lot of public outcry and demanding the ending to be changed, and then people coming out calling gamers entitled and you can't change somebody's art and all this sort of stuff, and the debate raged on. But the thing about it being entitled was that the ending was broken. Like it didn't make sense. There were so many plot holes where people were like, is this a dream sequence? And I feel like Conan, you and I, we kind of bonded over the ending of Mass Effect 3. It was the beginning of our friendship, actually, was around this time, 2012.
I think it is. We owe our friendship to Mass Effect, and
I still remember being like, dude, you need to watch this video on YouTube. It's an hour and a half. It's called The Indoctrination Theory. And it's a full-blown documentary that this clever noob his name was, created analyzing the ending with this like hypothetical theory of what's actually happening in the ending that describes the true ending. And this was created on the BioWare forums. People had come up with all these conspiracy theories, and it was so fascinating to
It
be
is, yeah.
there, as NFT people say, on the ground floor of the indoctrination theory. I was a believer, man. He ended up making 3 of those movie-length documentaries, and
Nice.
I'll be honest, I watched one a couple months ago, man, because it was just fascinating to watch him like analyzing like sound bites and this and the type of text you use in the background with the shadows, and like it made me believe, oh my god, Shepard is indoctrinated, and this is the true ending. Then obviously once all the DLCs had come out, and now it's been 10 years and we never got the thing to see the true ending of Shepard fighting the indoctrination. Obviously, the theory was wrong, which is kind of a shame, but it made the
Oh, good.
ending kind of seem more interesting, and I got super involved with the ending. I watched that ending so many times. But it really takes so much choice away from the player, and like characters just disappear and show up on the other side of the friggin' universe, and you're just like, what happened? How did they get there? They were next to me in this gameplay segment. Then this cutscene kicked in. Now they're over there. They're not with me anymore. Why am I wearing this? Like, it didn't make any sense logically. They fixed a bunch of stuff when they did the extended cut and added more dialogue and extra scenes in there to patch up the plot holes and everything like that. And the true ending was in the Citadel DLC, where it was just a nice, sweet farewell to all your crewmates and everything like that. And that's how I'll remember the ending of Mass Effect. But it was a disaster, man. Like
It
literally
really,
A, B, or C, and all 3 sucked.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And they played you a bunch of pre-rendered cinematics when you chose each one that were basically the same with a different color painted, like a different color filter painted over it of like,
Yeah.
ooh, this is this red mist covering everything, or green, or blue. It's like the same ending, man, but with a different narration at the end. And it's such a travesty. And last thing I know, because I'm ranting, because I feel very passionate about this. I still remember getting to that ending of when I first played Mass Effect 3, and it was getting around 3 a.m. and I was pushing it. I was like, I really need to go to bed, but I know this is the ending, so I'm just going to push through. And then the ending goes for an hour and it finished. And I remember sitting there, it was like 4 a.m. and I was just like, what was that? I was like, I don't. And then literally spending another hour online reading, like, what did I just witness? What is going on? Like,
Like
what
you've
is
been
this?
dumped.
Yeah, it was horrible. Worst experience of my life. Conan, what's a bad ending that you'd like to mention?
Well, I think what you say is really important to a lot of these bad video game endings. So many video games are intent on promising choice and impact, right? And it seems pretty natural. Like gaming as a medium is where you interact, you control, you influence. And so it seems like the holy grail of games is to be like your choices affect the ending and the game you get. And I feel like most bad endings, or so many bad endings, come from the fact that for some reason it's impossible to deliver on that. And I mean, I don't know about video game development. I mean, I have never know nothing about it. So maybe it is actually impossible to do. But I just feel like for some reason, like this, Casey Hudson is like, I'm locking myself in a room and I'm going to write the ending, and it's like he intentionally doesn't do the most basic thing that he could do. And for some
Yeah.
reason, games just seem to really have trouble with that. And maybe it is super hard to make endings that respond to that, but at the same time, things like Mass Effect actually had gameplay that did a react to your choices, like whether or not you killed the Rachni or not, how you chose that. Like stories do branch, but for some reason, endings can never stick the landing. One of the ones that came to mind was Fable 2. Fable is notoriously a proponent of this, you can change the world and you actually can't change a damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
The Fable 2 ending, did either of you guys play it or?
Yeah, I played it. I don't remember the ending for Fable 2. I was going to mention Fable 1, but
I want to hear that because I want to hear you talk about that as well. But Fable 2 was super mundane. That's why you don't remember it. Basically, after the whole chase, after the whole pursuit of Lucian, who killed your sister, is the big bad trying to destroy the world. You rock up, and basically, I think it's like either fallen heroes help you or something, but it's like a cutscene. There's no boss battle. It's one of those ultra anticlimactic things where it comes in and goes, oh, you've prepared for this day. Well, you beat me, I guess. And then you get to pick at the ending. You get to pick 3 things. You can either pick wealth, where you get 3 million gold, which is useless at the end of the game.
I remember this.
Yep.
You don't need it at the end of the game because you finished the game. There's no end game.
I heard about this. Yep.
You can resurrect everyone who was lost in the building of the spire. So, that's the good ending. Or you can bring back your loyal dog who took a bullet for you. And so everyone took the dog because it was great. There was a really good companion. It was a really well built AI companion. And he took a bullet for you. And that's kind of like the it's the neutral ending. It's like it's selfish of you to do that. And that's it. And it ends. There's no end game after this. So you bring back your dog because everyone would do that. Why the hell wouldn't you? And you just automatically kill the villain without trying. And that's it. And in a game that was again like build your character, you'll do how you want, be evil, be good, do whatever. There is really nothing. It's just very, very anticlimactic, and it seems pretty criminal in a game that's been like build your future, build your path and your fate, to just be like, well, it's all the same no matter what.
It's obviously a difficult thing with RPGs, like because these are the games that they promote choice and people can do all this crazy stuff and everything like that. But I feel like companies, and going back to Mass Effect, like it seems like they didn't go balls to the wall. Like we haven't had a sequel to it yet, technically, like Mass Effect 3 after 10 years. But it feels like they were there, like they didn't want to do anything too crazy, like to have these crazy different endings in case there was a sequel, so they could wrap it up in a bow and be like, no, well, it was everyone's ending technically happened, and this is the universe afterwards. But you need to be able to commit to something, like have it be a bit crazy. Which is why certain games like Heavy Rain and or Detroit Become Human have all these branching paths and everything like that, with like 21 or 40 different endings. I think there is in those games, where it can be polar opposites. Like everyone can be dead, or everyone can be alive, or everyone can be alive and suicidal, or everyone can be alive and happy, or like it's heaps of different stuff because there was never going to be a sequel to that game. But RPGs where it's so much on player's choice, like people talk about Fallout 3 a lot as a bad ending. What's your thoughts on that, Conan? Because you're a Fallout 3 fan.
Apologist fan.
Yeah.
Everything. I mean, the original ending before the Broken Steel DLC was really bad. It had the notorious for some reason the super mutant can't go in and survive the radiation. Yeah. You have to go in and die.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense.
It was the most hacky, like someone wrote this the morning of publishing the game. Yeah. And then there's just cutscenes at the end where it's like, I can't even remember, because they undid it where you survived that. And honestly,
I never saw that because I just did that original ending. I never played any of the DLCs for Fallout 3.
They changed it so Forks does go in and do that, and then the story continues after that. But I don't know, the ending of all the Fallouts is usually pretty. It's weird. I mean, the end. I can't even any of the Fallout 3 endings. I don't remember. They usually just end with the cutscenes of. It was just one of those weird things.
War never changes.
It just ends, and it's like, here's the basic thing that happens to your characters.
Yeah.
It's like, it's nice, but it's never like a huge payoff.
No.
Until New Vegas fixes it a lot, and where actually you do have to side with one of the groups, and the endings are this group, like, you go and win with this group, and that's really cool. But Fallout 3's endings, it's really unremarkable more than anything else.
Griner. Some bad. Sorry, your turn to talk. It's been 20 minutes.
I can join. Cool. No, I feel like RPGs do suffer from this a lot because they're afraid to like lock you into an ending halfway through the game. Like they don't want to make it so that the choice you make then is gonna be the ending you get in 50 hours time. And I kind of get that, but it also really sucks to like make all these choices. I'm going to be a bad guy this whole game, and in the end, you can be a good guy now if you want. It's fine. Just click the other switch instead. Like, it feels very disingenuous, not earned. Totally ruins the story. I have a few examples. First one, Knights of the Republic 2. Did you guys ever finish this game?
No, but I saw this on a list, and I didn't read it because I was like, I don't want to know yet. What?
I
Do you-
think,
do you
I think
want
you
me
looked at the same list I looked at. Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at lists and like, oh, that was a terrible ending. And Obsidian has this problem a little bit, and it happens at the end of New Vegas as well, where they're like, and here's a slideshow of all the things you did and how it affected the world. And they kind of tried to do that in Knights of the Republic 2, but I think they ran out of budget. So they literally have the voice actor for Kreia, one of the main characters who like narrates the whole story nearly, or talks a lot in the story, basically just say what happens, and you can ask her questions like, what happened to this character, and she'll tell you. What happened to this character, and she'll tell you. And it's just this long sequence of dialogue, and it just feels it just feels like, oh, here's all the script that we didn't have time to put into the game. She's just going to dump it on you. And it feels really bad. And again, like it's a you know, it's a huge RPG. You make these decisions that can affect huge parts of the game, but they're too afraid to commit to anything in the end. So you kind of just talk to this character, and she tells you how everyone turns out. It's really crappy.
Oh man,
Yeah,
Especially
that sucks.
following up Knights of the Republic, which I think had a pretty good ending. Like, there's
Great
definitely
ending.
there's a point in that game where you do make a decision, and you can be the bad guy the whole game and choose a good make a good decision at that point, kind of swap sides, but you still play the whole final act as whatever decision you make. It still feels impactful. It doesn't feel like, oh, there's a switch right at the end you can flick. But Knights of the Republic 2 is just like, you made it to the end. Here's a report of what you've done, voiced by a character who you've listened to for the whole game.
oh man,
Yeah, it sucks.
like an FAQ at the end. Of the
Yeah,
game.
nearly. It really is. It really is an FAQ. You can just ask her questions and she'll tell you.
Oh man,
It feels really shitty.
brutal.
Speaking of characters who just have talked to you the whole time, the other ending that I picked out, or I thought it was the original Bioshock. Now, I feel like this one's touted a lot as bad, and it is shockingly disappointing. You have a really mediocre boss fight, and then it is just a similar thing. It's sort of like some brief cutscenes with Tenenbaum, who's sort of talked to you the whole game, just telling you what happens. 2 of the 3 endings are the exact same ending, except her voice is angrier in one. where if you've been super evil, she's really upset with you. If you've been evil, she's like, I guess you did bad.
Yeah.
And again, it's just this weird, like, you get out, it's like, the endings are either you go to the surface with nuclear bombs and destroy the world for some reason, or you go up and save all the little sisters and you live a happy life there. And it's, again, in a game that's all about choice and I guess the illusion of it, it just seems really like a kick in the teeth to just be like, and then it all ends happily and whatever.
I think Bioshock's got like probably the best example. Like it's got such a dichotomy of the best twist and then followed up by like the worst ending.
Yeah.
What follows on from that twist is the worst ending. So the list we're probably all looking at, I wanted your opinion on it, Conan. Has Bioshock Infinite on there as one of the worst?
Yeah, I was shocked at that.
What's your opinion on that?
I think that's terrible. Bioshock Infinite's ending's great.
It's better. It feels like it's better than Bioshock 1. Like,
I mean, yeah.
the reveal of like, oh, there's always a man, there's always a lighthouse is really fun.
I love that.
Yeah.
Like it's again
it's
got
good.
that ending of just it all kind of wraps it up for you and whatever. But I thought that was really. It felt really fitting to me.
It is a game where like you make choices, but they mean nothing.
Yeah,
But that is also
yeah.
kind of the point of the story in a lot of ways too. So it's it feels okay.
I think sorry, continue.
It's just there's an illusion of choice there, but there's not really a choice, and that is kind of the point, and it's okay.
Exactly. I think that's the point it's making. It's you want to make choices to impact, but it's like there is no choice because of the theme. And so to have that ending that just ends it for you without your choice is really clever. If it was and that's kind of what I mean, by being aware of what it's doing and by constantly reminding you that your choice is pointless, I'm like that's perfect. It's the reason why Ken Levine's amazing.
Griner, to go back to you, also on this list, and you're the expert to talk about this, Half-Life 2 is on this as one of the worst endings. Can you elaborate on that?
I mean, even Half-Life 1, like a game that's pretty lauded as well, they're both just bad endings. They're both like G-Man shows up and saves the day, captures you, enslaves you. It's really not clear what is going on. Like, it's a total, almost like non sequitur. Like, it's just like, out of nowhere, this mysterious man who's appeared a few times throughout the game mysteriously shows up again and teleports you away out of a really dangerous situation. The one I was going to say, though, is episode 2's ending, because they start to get it right. Like, episode 1 has a really, like, it's got a good story. It actually makes sense. The ending makes sense. Episode 2 is the biggest cliffhanger. One of the main characters gets killed, and then they never give us any follow-up. And there's supposed to be an episode 3. That's the
Is
one
that
that
what
feels
makes
dirty.
it a bad ending?
That's,
Because
yes,
there's no
that's the one that
follow-up.
stings. Don't give us like this cliffhanger where you kill off a main character and make it seem like the fate of all these characters that you love is, you know,
in the balance.
Yeah, exactly, in like dire situation, then give us nothing. Terrible.
Yes, again, you can't do a cliffhanger without actually.
You got to make good on it.
Paying that off, yeah.
Which just reminds me of Days Gone, because like it
Get
has
out of
the
here.
ending, and with an awesome cliffhanger, and we're never going to get a sequel to it. It just reminded me of it. One game. Did either of you play Arkham Asylum all the way through? Like,
Yeah.
you would have seen it on this list as well. I've forgotten how bad the whole thing is with Joker at the end, that he turns into like this ginormous Venom
Turns into
Hulk
Bane, basically. Yeah.
monster with like a green mohawk, and
Yeah.
it's literally making him run into walls and like then punching him while he's dizzy.
Yep.
Pretty bad. And then of course they follow that up. Arkham City has an awesome ending with the Joker. But touching on one other one in this list, I never finished it or played it. Halo 2. Do any of you guys remember the?
Yeah, I don't hate this ending. I don't hate this
Halo
ending.
3?
Me
So what's
either.
your thoughts?
This ending feels like the Empire Strikes Back of endings, right? Like it's
Yeah.
like, you know, there's this dire situation. This is the dark middle chapter. Things aren't looking great for Chief. I don't remember it that well, honestly. I think that the story in Halo's not like super amazing, but you know, like I think Cortana and Chief are separated at this point.
I think
can't
so.
remember. It's just like, you know, he's not in a great situation, and it's setting up 3, which people love 3, and I don't think it's a bad ending.
Yeah, the big problem is that it's not an ending. It's a bridging thing. It's because his last lines are he's like finishing this fight. And so it's like a cliffhanger. It's like, and the fight will be finished when you get Halo 3.
Yeah.
Which I can see why you'd be a bit upset, but at the same time, yeah, I'm like, Halo 2 never felt like a complete, like the last game. It always felt like there was going to be more.
Yeah.
So it seemed fit.
Trilogy.
It seemed absolutely fine to me. I don't get the hate.
Yeah, like that's the thing. I think it's fine for that. I do remember that ending just because before Halo Infinite came out, I watched like a recap of all the Halo games in case I was missing something really important in the story. I remember that, but I think that's fine as an ending for the middle chapter on the trilogy. It's not like Half-Life. At least they finished it and told the story. If that was the last Halo game that ever came out, maybe the ending would be a lot
Maybe more
worse.
disappointing. Yeah.
Last one on this list, and I kind of mentioned it in the last podcast. I forgot the ending to Enslaved Odyssey to the West is really, really bad. Like it's like a really, really. I don't even remember it. It's on one of the top on this list that we were reading earlier.
I saw that.
It's apparently it's very similar to the Matrix. Like it's just saying like, oh, you know, it's like this is the real world and people are in this weird reality. All I remember is like it's like middle of the desert and there's this big TV screen with real life Andy Serkis, like a video of Andy Serkis talking to you and like telling you this message as if he's like this big corporate overlord or something. But he's also the voice actor of Monkey, the main character. But they hired him to play this other character. I don't remember what the hell happened, but I remember being like, that was a disappointing end to that journey. So
That's whack.
Yeah, whack. But so Conan, still play that game. Just don't get to the end.
Just stop right before the ending.
Yes.
I can do that. Granted, you said you had some others on that list.
I just wanted, honorable mentions, Metal Gear Solid 5. Not the strongest story, but it felt like it was going somewhere, and then it just like has its legs completely cut out from under it. You get this kind of cool twist at the end that kind of doesn't really. Obviously it bridges 2 stories that don't seem to make any sense together. In kind of a cool way, I guess. Like the reveal of what's his name? Solid? No, it's not Solidus Snake. Whatever. Big
Boss. Venom
Big Boss.
Snake.
Yeah. Like the reveal, and the reveal that it's It's Snake
Not-
helping you at the start,
Yeah,
even though
yeah,
like they're voiced by the same voice actor, and you should realize that, but you don't for some reason. I don't know. There's a lot of trippy stuff in that game, and it gives you this cool sequence at the end, but it doesn't really feel like it pays off because it cuts itself so short.
See, I'd consider that to be one of the best games of all time if it had David Hayter as the other one. 'Cause
Yes.
then it would explain.
Would have made so much more sense.
Oh, but
There's an extended sequence with two Snakes voiced by the same voice actor, neither one of which is the voice actor that voiced Snake in every other game.
for the last 20 years, instead it's Keith the
And
Sutherland.
the story makes so much more sense if that other Snake is voiced by David Hayter. But anyway.
Would that have given away the twist? Is it a twist? I don't know.
Well, I think
really.
they could have done Kiefer Sutherland at the start, kept it confusing, and then
'Cause
at
it's
the
trippy,
end,
like, he's
it's trippy, and then reveal at the end that it was David Hayter, and that would have been like chef's kiss. You've done well, good job,
Perfect.
Kojima.
That explains why you recast him after 20 years. Oh, I love David Hayter, and I can't get over that.
The whole thing would have made so much more sense. And the original Fable, a little bit like Fable 2, you make a huge choice at the end of the game where there's nothing left to do anyway. You can choose to either kill your sister or get the Sword of Aeons. Yeah. But I mean, who cares? Like, the game's ended then anyway, so
exactly.
What difference does it make? Why would you choose to kill your sister? I suppose. I don't know. It's just like pick A or B. One's good, one's bad, and that's it.
It's so strange, yeah. But it's like there's no end game, but you can have this cool sword.
See,
why?
I dislike RPGs where it's like it's a solid ending where it's just like, that's it. Now you go back to an earlier save. I want to be able to live in that world after the ending.
Yeah, can be
live
nice.
with the consequences.
Yeah. Well, the problem was you could live in the world after, and this is what they were wanting. You could keep exploring, but there was nothing to do. There was no quests.
No,
the world doesn't change, so it's literally just you walk around and kill the same dudes you've been killing the whole time.
Yeah.
Weird.
We'll wrap up. One more I just want to mention that's on this list that I want to get you guys' opinion on because you guys are the experts. It has Dark Souls, the original Dark Souls, on here as one of the worst. It just says started from the bottom, now we're back again. You guys, I think, controversially rated this as one of the top 2 best games of all time of the decade. I don't remember
everyone
exactly where it
agrees.
placed.
Everyone agrees.
So is it a bad ending?
Griner, can you
because if it is, we're going back.
No,
and we're changing our top 10.
It's the best ending ever. Actually.
We've litigated this to no end. Not every game has to have the best story to be the best game. So at the end, you defeat Gwyn, the Lord of Cinder, and then you make a choice. You can either relink the flame or extinguish
like
it. I don't know. There's like 2 things you can do. One of which helps the bad serpent, one of which helps the good serpent. But are they all the same serpent? It's not very clear.
You were given the choice of rekindling the fire of men or ushering in the Dark Age. No matter your decision, the game ends and you are transported back to the beginning to play it through a second time.
Yeah, I mean, really essentially, one choice is to plunge the world into darkness and stop the status quo, stop this repeating cycle that's been going on forever. But you don't know, is that a bad ending? You know, the evil serpent that lives down below is the one telling you to do this, but you know, it's at least stopping this endless cycle. The other one is to continue this cycle and rekindle the flame, and everything happens again.
Sounds bad.
I personally like cyclical things because I read that and I sort of remember like, I think it just keeps you playing the game over and over. But then you think of things like Journey, because Journey was on this list as another list I looked at as like one of the best endings.
Yes.
You know, it's like you die, but then you start again and you relive the journey. And I'm like, that's the same ending. Screw you. You can't just say that's good. I like cyclical endings. I think it's cool when it's played that way of like fate, nothing you do, or, you know, this is a world where fate's always against you. And if it's done properly with sort of thematically actually makes sense. I really like that idea where, especially in a video game where you will keep replaying it.
Yeah.
It makes sense to be like, oh, I can play this game again with the experience rather than I have to pretend that I'm a new player as growing from a child.
Yeah, and Dark Souls, where it's all about, you know, dying and repeating sections and dying and coming back again. Like that whole story is about the cyclical nature of that world. Yeah, and this is you either breaking that cycle or continuing it. It makes total sense in context. It's not explained very well in the game, but nothing about the Dark Souls story is. That's kind of part of the charm of it.
Yeah.
Do I think Dark Souls has an amazing story? No, but that's not why I like Dark Souls.
True.
Dark Souls is way more about its atmosphere and just the oppressiveness of how it feels while you play it, rather than, oh, this character's so deep and charming.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
Best game of the decade.
What? It hurts. Yep. Well, that might be all. One quick last honorable mention as one of the worst endings to Hades, but other than that,
get out. What's your problem? Why would you?
Sorry,
what a drive by. What a waste of time.
Just had to.
Well, let's talk about bad endings. The Last of Us 2.
No. Hey, we will.
What a waste of time that game.
There's a bunch of other games I'd like to get into that are amazing endings. That will be a topic maybe in the next episode or an episode down the line. There's a lot to talk about there. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. You can follow us on social medias at Bonus XP Podcast. And if you like to listen to us talk about video games, you'll love listening to us talk about movies. We just did a review of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, or Doctor Strange in the Mum, as some people like to say. That's very fun. Go check it out. That is the Good, the Bad, and the Worst podcast. You can find that on social media as well under that name. This episode is brought to you, as always, by the book The Taste of Iron by one C.V. Clarke, the maidenless man himself. Buy it on Amazon. Reach out to us if you want a paperback copy signed by the author. It'll be worth more than an NFT in many years to come. I guarantee you it. And yeah, thanks for watching again. See you next time. Peace.
I hope you promise to ride me like you ride that bike.
Great game. Great game.